Last dispatch. I used to think theme parks slept like dogs, one ear up, but harmless. I'm 26, night ride tech at a coastal amusement park that looks brave in daylight and older after closing. My job is simple: lock station gates, cycle power to the coasters, run diagnostics, and never walk the track without a spotter. 2 rules, taped above the panel in big, friendly font. Do not dispatch after midnight, and never bypass a restraint sensor. Nothing good rides at 2 a.m., my lead says. If something wants a loop, then let it wait for daylight. At 11:18, the park was a map of red exit signs and sodium hoilos. The wooden coaster slept like a barn. The steel one, our pride, sat in the station with a single train, lap bars up, glossy as a shark. I ran the shutdown routine, printed the fault summary, and watched the thermal strip curl warm in my hand. Normal faults. Then, one extra line I've never seen. Do not dispatch. No code, just the sentence, stamped with a time that wasn't the time. 3:13 am. Firmware bug, I told the console, and taped the strip to the monitor, because paper makes lies polite. The first odd sound was the click-click of the Lift Hill anti-rollback dogs. 2 crisp clacks, like a foot on a stair, even though the chain wasn't moving. I stood very still and listened to the hill remember the day. The clacks didn't repeat. A gull screamed somewhere over the empty midway and forgot why. I swept the station as part of the show for no one, picked up lost hats, brushed sand from the yellow line, the turnstile at the exit, counted 1, even though the gate was chained. The counter on the panel ticked from 0 to 0 to 0 to 1, like a joke with timing. The park PA clicked, breathed, and played the start of our safety spiel. My own recorded voice, cheerful at noon. Please keep hands, arms, legs, and feet inside the vehicle. Then it cut to something that wasn't me. A slow, careful voice, lowering each word into place. Do not dispatch. The speaker popped and went back to pretending to be a square. When I slid my palm along the nearest lap bar, it felt cooler than the air, like metal from a refrigerator. Fog bloomed on the Wii inside of Car 2's headrest. 5 oval smears and a heel, dragged down an inch before it cleared. Guests do that on the outside all day, not inside. I wiped it with shop towel until the headrest looked like it had never learned breath. Diagnostics flagged a restraint open in Car 4. The bar looked down, and the switch read down, but the controller insisted. Open in a stubborn red. I reseated the plug twice and power cycled the row. The screen corrected. Then the fault log typed a line by itself with the patience of a clerk. Leave bars down. My radio hissed. Instead, wet static, a near mic breath, and 3 words that came like they were being carried. Don't send it. I stepped out onto the platform and stared along the dark spine of track. The lift chain hung slack in the shallow valley before the hill like a tongue. The hub magnet gates at the station mouth shivered and kissed, closed more tightly, as if a patient hand had pushed them together and leaned. The console chimed a block clear, and then a block unknown. Behind the smear, the brake fins gleamed. In the reflection of stainless steel, a head tilted out of proportion. More suggestion than face. I considered calling my lead. I didn't, because the second rule would come up, and I would have to say I was ignoring it. I told myself I would perform the comfort routine. Walk the station perimeter. Check the maintenance gate latch. Verify the train was pegged to the floor. The maintenance gate stood where it should, chain threaded and locked. tag that says lockout in a font that thinks it can save you. From the other side of the gate, knuckles tapped twice. On the steel post, neat as punctuation, something rolled across the platform behind me. A loose bolt, and stopped against my boot. It was a wristband, the paper kind with a smiley face we give kids, wet like it had lived inside a mouth, handwritten on it in pencil. 3:13. I set it on the panel and told my stomach to be quiet. At 12:41, the ride controller did something I've never seen. Reset request from no operator ID. The screen offered me press to accept. The button glowed like a dare. The PA inhaled and whispered again, patient as tide. Do not dispatch. In that thin incision of dark, a train sat in the station with its lap bars down, and a figurine sat with it in car 2, head turned to the side like a person trying to hear through a door. When the lights steadied, the train was where I had left it, empty. The click-click on the lift hill answered the lights with exact timing. 2 clacks, learned and polite. I put my hand over the dispatch buttons, like a priest unsure which prayer goes to which saint. The e-stop is a red mushroom that looks like certainty. I remembered the sticker, do not dispatch after midnight. I kept my hands on the console housing like it would anchor me to rules instead of stories. The control screen typed another line, leave gates closed. The exit turnstile counted 1. Again, my own voice on the PA tried a new sentence it has never said. Do not ride alone. The lift hill stairs went up and up into a wedge of darker sky. Chain silent, except for the occasional tick under its own weight. Halfway to the first catwalk landing, the steps in front of me answered. My steps a half beat late, as if someone a stair below was learning my stride. I did not look back. The handrail felt like the river in January. On the landing, I stopped. The park around me was the underside of a postcard. Beyond the track, the empty midway made its fluorescent promise to no one. My radio, not on my shoulder, but close to my ear like a whisper, said, leave the bars. Then, almost kind, don't send. I retreated to the station because high places at night invent courage you don't own. The panel awaited with its little green eyes. The time on the fault strip did not change. I set the lap bar check to manual. Each one cooperated like it wanted to make me complicit. In car 2, when my palm pressed the bar, another palm met it from the inside of air, cold through cold, then withdrew as if embarrassed. I tried humor on a room that didn't ask for it. We're closed, I said. Come back at 10. It was the ride audio, finding a syllable that had been taped over for Halloween and holding it too long. The maintenance gate chain sounded like it moved and didn't. The turnstile counted 1, again without moving at all. I did not dispatch. When I cut power to the console, the station went soft. In that breath, before the emergency lights realized they were now in charge, the train moved an inch and sighed back into place, like a sleeper rolling over. I pressed e-stop without thinking and felt the big relays slam like a heartbeat. Then the PA, no power, but somehow, gave one last sentence. With the patient weight of a rule, learned late, do not dispatch. After that, the dark returned to the honest kind. Dawn slunk up the coastline and made the sky gray as a receipt. Quiet, he asked, reading the log without reading me. Mostly, I said, sliding the thermal strip with do not dispatch under the tape. He frowned at the timestamp. Thumb over, shush, 3. and said the only spell managers know. Printers old. We cycled the ride at 10 in front of actual people who squealed and did not know about hands that learned glass. It ran like a show dog. The fault log showed no midnight lines, just tidy blocks and success. No one believes in an hour that keeps its own clocks. In my apartment, the radiator makes a click click like anti-rollback dogs when it warms at 3:13. Some mornings, the building holds the kind of breath ride stations do, and the smoke alarm lights blink together once like they're practicing. I keep a strip of thermal paper in my wallet like a saint card. It reads, "Do not dispatch," in a font that never belonged to our printer. If I stop and listen, the hill clacks twice. Very polite, as if greeting someone stepping onto the stairs I can't see. I leave the bars down, the gates closed, and the story where it belongs. Behind glass, sealed until morning, decides it's safe to let people ride.
If you survived this far, leave your like to prove you are not afraid.